Welcome back, everybody, to This Is My Bourbon podcast. I am your host, Perry, who has been yelled at and screamed at by his small children all day for the past, week or so. I don't know. I've kind of lost all concept of time. I'm very sorry. And with me is my co-host, who is a little frustrated with me because I'm a lot later than I intended to be for this recording of this podcast. It's Kyle, Mr. Cookin.
And I'm Kyle, and I'm happy, and I'm having a great time. Everything's great. No problems whatsoever. We're having a great time. It's a great day. It's a great night. It's a great year. We're going to have a great time. Let's cork off together.
Kyle told me that he might be quitting already, even though this is his fourth official episode on the podcast.
It's important to have threats ready at all times, just in case. And this is one of those just in case moments. Don't worry, it's not actually going to happen, but I wanted to make the threat. So, anyways,
sometimes you just really know when you've misbalanced things, and we made the mistake of also trying to set an earlier bedtime for our oldest tonight, and it just did not go well. I'll say that much. So it's okay. We got a really good episode for you all this week.
Yes.
I have a great interview with Bennett Ray from Cookin with Congress. I hope you guys enjoy it. But we kick off every episode with a segment known as Flying Blind, where in this version of it, Kyle and I pour something for ourselves, and then we play 10 questions and try to guess what it is that the other person has in their glass. And Kyle,
yes.
Which of us should go first this time? Because I went first.
I went first
time.
last.
Oh no, sorry, you did go first last time. My bad.
Yeah,
sorry.
So go ahead. No, you're good.
Okay, fine.
Right. Write down your questions.
Yes, I will write down my questions this time
as we go, so we can keep up with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 1, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's a stupid question to start off with. Does this whiskey? Is this whiskey old enough to order a pour of whiskey for itself?
No.
Okay. Okay. Not old enough. That's a crazy first one to put down.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
If I drove 400 miles to visit the distillery where this whiskey was made, would I have driven too far?
That's a good question. Probably. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, of course.
Miles too far. Okay.
Yeah.
Question 3. Has this whiskey gone through a secondary finishing process?
No.
Would this whiskey legally be allowed on a commercial flight?
Yes.
Okay. Legally allowed on airlines.
I'm legally blind.
Hey, Tony's here. Tony's here.
I'm so sorry.
Thanks for showing up, Tony. What are you doing here, buddy? Question number 5. I'm just going to get this one out of the way. Is it age stated?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's my first time having it.
Ooh.
Oops. I shouldn't have said that.
That's my little bonus one.
Yep, it's a bonus one. We'll give it to you.
Okay. All right. That knocks out a bunch of options, I feel like.
Really?
I mean, if it's maybe not,
Right.
maybe not,
Getting rid
maybe
of the
not.
staples, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
Mhm.
Is it a heritage distillery?
Oh, yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
This is question number 7.
I can't answer grunts or groans.
That's fair. That's completely fair. Age stated heritage. Have I interviewed the person that made this whiskey?
Oh my gosh. Probably not recently, not in the last couple years, maybe, if at all.
Okay.
That's a tough one to answer, but
Probably haven't
probs now.
interviewed the maker.
But maybe. Who's to say?
Does this is a good question because I like this from my last time I did this. Does this distillery use multiple mash bills for their products?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Multiple mash bills. Okay, question 9. Question 10 has to be the guess, right? Like it's not 10 and then a guess.
Not necessarily. I guess. Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to.
Okay. I'm just making sure because
I get
lots riding
no.
on.
No, we'll allow a guess after the 10th.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Okay. If I gave this to a first time or an inexperienced bourbon drinker, would they find this to be quote unquote smooth?
Yeah, I would say so.
Smooth. Is this whiskey from the bourbon capital of the world?
No.
Oh. That one threw me for a loop. Okay.
Yes. Look at all of the questions you've asked again. Just run through them and then think.
It's your first time having it.
Mm-hmm.
Legally allowed on airplanes.
Yep. Which just means it's not hazmat.
Not finished. Heritage.
Mm-hmm.
Probably haven't interviewed the maker. Multiple mash bills. Smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And not from Bardstown.
Right. And within a 400-mile radius.
Yeah, I don't know why I chose 400 miles.
I don't know. That's pretty far.
But the fact...
Oh, shit, it's Woodinville. It's Woodinville.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going initially, because you were like, yeah, he's probably not going to get this. Dang. I don't like this guess, but it's about as close as I'm gonna get.
Okay.
Is it Bullet Bottled and Bond?
It is not.
Okay. I don't have a second guess. Like I'm pretty far off, I think.
I'm gonna give you a quick hint. This is related to what many considered one of the top 3 whiskeys that was released last year. It's related to them. So think about the top 3 that came out for a lot of people this past year. Age stated, smooth,
Multiple
within a
mash bills.
400-mile radius.
Not from Bardstown.
Not from Bardstown.
See, now I'm hitting a wall because now I'm only thinking about what did I have on my.
Yeah, do you have your list available?
I do. Is it the Four Roses Small Batch LE?
No. Oh,
okay.
Man.
I'm way too far
you?
off then. Yeah, I do.
All right. This distillery is known for their Lincoln County process.
Okay, I was thinking that it was Jack. Is it the Jack Daniels 14?
It's related to the Jack 14. It is the Jack Daniels 10.
Dang it. Okay.
Yep.
14 was my next guess because that was my number one.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Right. And it's a lot of people's top 3. So,
yeah. Okay.
It's very good.
Yeah. I like the 10. 10 last year was one of, if not the best that the 10 has been for all of the releases that they've put out.
Yeah. The nose on it is ridiculous. I wasn't ready for that.
I've got my sample around here somewhere. Anyway. Okay. Do you want me to show you what my pour looks like because I did that last time?
Yeah, did I show you mine fair enough?
No, you didn't. You didn't, but it's okay. I'm not going to hold it against you.
Yeah. No, don't. I don't care.
Oh, okay. All right, sure.
I won't give
I will still sip it though while we do this. Okay.
All right. Let's start with the basic stuff. First, take a dip. Take a big dip, big sniff. Now he's just blocking it. He doesn't want me to see it at all. Nice extendo. Very aggressive. Oh, okay. Can I fly with that thing?
You can absolutely fly with this.
Okay. All right. Flight risk? No. All right.
You're not getting the captain called on you.
Yeah, darn.
I just want to see the cockpit.
Yeah, come on, man. Can I fly this thing? I bet
Where
I could.
are my wings?
Oh, I bet I could land this thing. let me try.
Give me a shot, bro. Just one. Come on. I see an open field over there.
Yeah.
They're just farmers.
Okay. Is it age stated?
It is age stated.
Okay. Was it distilled by the brand that released it?
No.
Okay.
Good question.
So then the distillery, let's see how will I say this? Distilled in Kentucky?
Partially.
Okay, here we go. So we're Barrelcraft spirits. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it's a all right. So it is a non-flight risk, age-stated NDP blend. I got a feeling. But
jeez.
We'll keep moving.
Okay. All right.
First, is it finished?
Yes.
All right. That now widens the gap because finished multi-state stuff, everyone's doing that right now. So
it's true. Fun. It's true. They're all saying it.
They're all saying it. They're all doing it.
I hate to do it.
They're all doing each other, saying it while doing it to each other at the same time. All right.
Sometimes two at once.
The dance has multiple meanings. Dude. Okay. Do they have a location in downtown Louisville?
They do not.
Okay. All right. That takes out a couple of the guys. No Whiskey Row. Cool. That helps.
Or does it?
I mean, no, but it was worth knocking out Pursuit and Bardstown and what's their face that you reviewed a couple of weeks ago.
Buzzard Roost.
Yeah, Buzzard Roost. So that got rid of those three.
Yikes.
And honestly, also whatever the freaking Bob Dylan company or whatever. I can't.
Oh, Heaven's Door. Yeah.
Heaven's Door. So that was a strategic move there.
You'd actually, yeah. I mean, that was a good help.
Do they spell their name wrong?
No.
Okay. All right. So no Barrelcraft spirits.
Do they spell their name
wrong? Dang. Yeah, this sucks.
This is a tough one. I mean, this is a really tough one.
Yeah, because multi-state finish, I was initially thinking either we were going Barrel or Bardstown. And then when I heard multi-state again, I also thought Pursuit, and then we knocked those two out. So now I'm clutching my pearls. I don't even know.
I'm not sure it's used correctly in that sentiment, but I mean, I'll still give it to you.
That's the fun.
We're not working off semantics here.
That's right. Yeah, we're not working off Samantha today. So whatever we're doing.
Poor Samantha.
Sorry, Sammy. I don't know. Let's ask another question. I don't have any other questions that I can think of that'll help me. Those are the most useful. Because it's finished. Is it also is it a finished rye?
No, it's not.
Okay. Yeah, this sucks.
This is a tough one.
Yeah. I have no idea. Is it cask strength?
Nothing indicates that it is, so I'm going to say no.
Okay.
It's
right on.
I mean, it's batched.
Okay. Who else is batching shit?
Let me say this. It's too low of a proof to where I would anticipate it being cast strength.
Okay. All right.
Do you want to look at it? Like, not the
Sure.
bottle, of course, but the...
Yeah, show me the bottle, show me the label, show me everything. Great. Yeah, that tells me basically nothing. I mean, it's like copper.
Yeah.
Slightly darker than copper. So then it's finished in probably wine barrels of some sort. That's not a guess. That's just me doing Samantha.
Samantha's really getting it on this episode.
It is what it is, right? Okay. I guess I will ask that. Is it a wine finish?
It is not a wine finish.
All right.
All right.
Son of a bitch. I don't know. Is this dude, I have no idea. Cause oh my gosh. Okay.
Do you want one more hint?
Sure.
They do not operate in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, I figured as much at that point. See, one of those like old scout like finishes. I don't know. That's all I got.
Okay.
No,
it is not.
Yeah.
It is not an Old Scout finish.
I know they do mostly MGP, but
it is the Widow Jane, the Vaults.
Yes, I would have never guessed anything Widow Jane.
It's the 2025 release. 15 years old, 99 proof. This is the one that was aged in, or finished in, rather, mythological oak, which came from the Mediterranean oak forests of Greece.
All right, right on. Could be wine barrels, Zeus, but probably not.
Yeah. Sacred to Zeus in Greek mythology, this oak imparts ripe notes of mountain sage, wild honey, and fig.
Nice.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Kyle, what have you been drinking recently?
Not that. Sorry. Hate to be a Debbie Downer, but definitely not that.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about.
I have had a little bit of this B520 from Elijah Craig.
Yeah, because you had
I was hanging out
canceled last night.
Yeah, I don't know which plans though.
That wasn't me.
No, it wasn't.
That wasn't me.
No, I know. I'm kidding. I like that bourbon a lot.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so tasty. Yeah, so I had some of that B520. It's nice. It's good. I was hanging out with Chad and our boy Eric Jansen. He's got two S's in there, so you got it Jansen in there. Or whatever. That's my dog. He was sick. We hung out a lot and had turkey and B520. So yeah, that is all I've had today and yesterday and the day before and the day before that and before that.
Well, for anybody who didn't listen to last week's episode, which actually was very few of you, for those of you who are regular listeners of the podcast, because last week's episode did phenomenally well compared to some of the episodes we've had recently. And lo and behold, I wasn't even on it. And Chad and Kyle took over because we had a death in the family. Lucy's grandfather, who was 92, or was about to be 92, actually, passed away. And so we had some, not exactly like week-long activities, but enough going on to where I needed to take some time off from the show. And Chad and Kyle stepped in and took care of that episode, which I've said to them in private, but I wanted to say on this episode to Kyle, thank you so much for stepping up and taking care of that episode, because it turned out phenomenally. Like, honestly, I was so proud of how that episode shook out. Like,
I think the coolest thing about that episode is the way that everyone stepped up and was willing to support and show their love and appreciation in a certain way that was just by doing what everyone was good at. You know, we were just lucky enough to be able to come together and do something to take that weight off of your shoulders for that week. And everyone was just great and super thankful for the Chads for stepping in and all of the really cool barrel rings we got in. Yeah, everyone just crushed it. It was an awesome time, and we're so thankful for all of that. That was just it was fun, playful, and I really enjoyed that episode. Just a really good time.
Too. There was a moment where I it solidified, and we did joke at the beginning of the episode about you turning in your resignation letter, but it did solidify my choice to have you as the co-host on the show for a couple of reasons. One, because even though you have a very short tenure so far on the show, you immediately, when I asked you to, stood up and said, "Yes, I will help you out." And two, you brought the backbone for that episode, and made it into what it was, and that helped me not only like feel comfortable with the future of the show, but also like gave me a moment where I felt excited just to sit there and listen to it again. Like there are times when I was just doing it solo, where I was like cranking through editing, and I was like, I'm just so ready to be done with this. Like I gotta get it done and put out for people. But you know, even though I wasn't there for it, I was still trying to make it the best that it was going to possibly be, even though it was still my podcast. I was still excited to listen to it. And I think that, you know, it just goes to show like that is the future of this show. Like, in its rawest form, like you being there, and driving the conversation, with or without Chad. I mean, that was your baby.
Sure.
Was
I think
happen.
Yeah, Chad is he has the experience for like presenting, and so he was capable of kind of guiding and hosting in that format. But I felt comfortable with the points that we had and all that other stuff. It was a really great time, and I felt comfortable in that situation, and I feel like I'm developing and getting more comfortable here every day and every week we do this. And I also think working on corking off is helping as well. So I think all of it's culminating at the right time, at the right place. And I feel like we're going to see an exciting little boom period together. And I hope we make that the hottest, sexiest thing on planet Earth that is almost entertaining enough to watch a full episode of.
What a fun, sexy time for us.
I'm so ready, Samantha.
But But what I was going to say, aside from, again, thank you so much.
Of course. Yeah.
Was Lucy's grandfather passed, and we had a kind of week-long celebration of his life, and he got buried at Camp Nelson, which in a bourbon context, you say Camp Nelson and you think wild turkey, but what Camp Nelson truly is, was originally a battleground, and has military history, but has now turned into an armed forces cemetery. And he was buried at the cemetery, which actually is across the street from the rick houses that Wild Turkey owns, where those infamous or famous, whatever, Wild Turkey barrels are aged. Those rick houses. And so throughout the week of celebrating his life, even though he was a teetotaler, my toast to him, I was opening a Camp Nelson Rickhouse E Russell single barrel, and it was a very simple toast, but it was that the best barrels of bourbon are rested for a long time, and the best men among us are rested forever. And to celebrate him, we cracked open a bottle of what it could ostensibly be the best bourbon. And by Thursday night, after the funeral, that bottle of bourbon was also laid to rest, as it were. And so that's as far as I'll get into it. But, even for somebody who was not a bourbon drinker, it felt appropriate to celebrate a man who was, and I will not get into it here because there's too much to get into, but was the best of us, even in the worst of times. And I always admire him and will strive to be like him in my darkest times too. And I hope that I can do that eventually. But for the music geeks in us as well, I have to show you too.
All right.
I got one of his guitars.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's a Washburn.
Okay.
But
using
it's
a 335 type, right? 335
basically,
yeah,
like a 335. It's a hollow body, kind of like, for people who don't know, music or guitars that well. It's basically like what B.B. King played. Like, I don't know a better way to put it for people. I, of course, have played guitar for, 2/3 of my life, and I met him half of my life ago, and I always got into their house, and after saying hello and everything, I sat down and I started playing his guitars. And a few years ago, he got this one, and this was the guitar that I sat down and I played the most. And he said, "That's yours," basically. And a couple of years ago, he was in the hospital and he was really sick. And he was like, "I need to give this one to you sooner than later." And I was like, "Granddad, you're going to be here until you're 110. And he made it to 91. And it still wound up being mine. But I was very, very thankful that I got to hold on to this piece of him. So anyway,
It's really cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's that for
that's sweet.
Little,
what a piece. Yeah. What a sweet piece. Yeah. It's awesome.
I'll bring it by the storage unit soon so we can, enjoy it together. Folks, I am unbelievably excited. I've been following this guy for a while, and I adore all of the work that he does on the internet. Cooking with Congress, Bennett Ray. Bennett, thank you so much for sitting down with me for a little while and drinking some bourbon and talking about. Well, I don't even know exactly where the conversation is going to go at this point, because that's how things roll with Tim Bibb.
Love to hear that, and thank you for inviting me to this podcast. It's the first one that's come with free drinks, also, so that's a bonus. Yeah, you need
to be on more bourbon shows then, because that's kind of just part and parcel when you get on bourbon podcasts, because we want to share the wealth. And it's a good conduit for for conversation anyway.
A whole circuit out there.
Yeah. Oh, there are a lot. COVID was a big reason for so many bourbon podcasts happening as well, because everybody was like, well, I'm at home drinking and bored, so I may as well, start some kind of content with it. But we'll start here. Where did first of all the idea for Cooking with Congress come about, and what was the impetus for your first couple of episodes?
Yeah, I'm happy to be starting with the best of all those bourbon podcasts, obviously. And
man, there we go. Thank you.
The impetus for Cooking with Congress, it's kind of a long gestating idea. Back in, I think it was 2018, so almost 8 years ago now, I was with my then girlfriend up in Washington State visiting her grandma, and her grandma was in her early 90s. She's since passed, but she pulled out this cookbook out of nowhere, out of her library, her weird collection. She grew up in South Dakota, and she had kept this 1989 South Dakota Centennial cookbook. And she just thought, I think you'll find this neat. So I took a look at it, cracked it open, and I fell in love immediately. To me, it was so funny because there are all these recipes submitted from, South Dakota's premier political players, the governor, state senators, the representatives, and all the recipes sounded disgusting. It was like happy ham and diabetic cucumber salad and all the funniest recipe titles you could think of, juxtaposed with these pictures that they're all 24 years old, but they look like 55 years old. There's that era of time, right. Everybody when they were 18 looked 40, and it was so funny. And it even had recipes from Ronald Reagan and George Herbert Walker Bush, the president and the vice president at the time. And so I was like, I love this. This is so funny. I have to start recreating these recipes. Now at that time, she said, you can't have the cookbook yet. I'm not dead yet. But she made another one. When I die, I give to Bennett. But I couldn't even wait that long. I found a copy on eBay and just started making the recipes back in 2018. Started a blog, about a year later. But I was just doing it for fun for so long. And that's where the idea came from. It didn't take off until I'd say 2023, 2024.
Right. Was there any just history nerd route that you had in there too? What was your background in school too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, presidential history specifically was my always nerd. I could go on and on about presidents. I remember their order when I was 8 or something like that. I had a president's book when I was a kid at my 4th birthday party, and I still don't quite understand the context, but they had at Party City big cutouts of George Herbert Walker Bush on sale because it was 1992, and he was done 1993, so he was done. They were on the clearance rack. My mom thought it'd be funny to just bring a cutout to my 4th birthday party. A picture of me at my Batman 4th birthday party, all in Batman outfits, and then George Herbert Walker Bush is at the door. It was injected in such a weird way, so young. I just took it on, I guess. And when I was 6, I was like, well, I want to be the president, but also I want to be a chef at the same time if they allow that.
Right.
It's just the closest that I could possibly come to it with my professional qualifications, I think.
There's something funny too about like having to find that balance between like I love the history of it and how can I incorporate it into entertainment as well. And like that initial spark, it's such a like blessing is such a weird word to use in that, but like without that the initial cookbook, I mean, like I would have never thought to go, I think I'm going to make an entire series out of the oddities of elected officials.
Well, it's one of those things. I don't know if you've ever felt this way as a creative person, but some stuff like grabs you and doesn't really let go of you instead of the other way around. Like I've had tons of ideas. I'd be like, oh, I love this idea. And I'll like run with it for a little bit and then I'll stop. But Cooking with Congress, I think was this like, I don't know, an idea that didn't quit on me. And it just kept coming back. And I tried iteration after iteration. I did a blog. I shot like a pilot with friends that was fun, but wasn't focused. I did when I had a newborn baby at home. I was like, all right, she's asleep. I'm going to like go shoot some stuff for YouTube and do like a 10-minute version, but it was still coming around and finding its voice and footing. And so it was just a matter of repetition and I don't know, I guess obsession too, like some sort of obsession.
Right. And I think that, not to get too into the weeds for anybody watching, but there is something about like once creative sit down and we talk about our process, we just have to kind of get it out of the way. But that format of like short form content, I think does really lend itself super well to quickly talking about like the day in the life of an elected official and what they would eat 3 meals a day, and also just giving people a brief overview of weird, absurd, or in some cases just run of the mill food, right? Like eating is such a universal notion, like as Josh Scherer of Mythical Kitchen says, we all got to eat and we all got to die. And it just is a very natural thing that we would kind of slot ourselves into, like, oh, I could see myself eating that. Oh, I could not see myself eating that. But then you have the anomalies like Winston Churchill, who, drank and ate more than most people will do in their entire lifetime.
And more champagne at the very least. A lifetime's worth of champagne within, I mean, for most people, probably a week.
Was the champagne the hardest part of that episode to get through, or was it the cigars? Yeah, it was the cigars. Yeah,
far and away. I mean, listen, 14 drinks throughout the day is a lot of drinks throughout the day. Don't get me wrong, but like once you get up to 6 cigars, I really was like, on a couple of them, I was like, I'd say this is done. I was like getting past the band. I was like getting close to the band. I was like, we'll consider this done, because my head was just pounding and I couldn't tell where it was coming from really at that point. I was like, is it the Papa cocktail that I'm sipping on? Is it the third cigar of the day? Is it that it's 11 o'clock in the morning? I don't know. It was confusing my body at all times. I wouldn't recommend either the 8 or the 14. It's 2 whole bottles of champagne a day is ludicrous.
Thinking about that much, I don't even want to entertain it at times. But let's go ahead and pour the first that we have. So sample bottle number 1, as it were. As I said too in my last email, feel free to pour as little or as much as you would like. But I figured I'll just tell you what each of these are, because aside from samples 2 and 3, which we'll do, as I said, like a tasting within a tasting with those, because I had a spark of an idea with it. But
Okay. Intrigued.
are you familiar with the Maker's Mark ambassador program?
I'm not. Tell me more.
So years ago, it used to be a lot cooler. It used to be able to sign up and your name would go on a barrel along with other ambassadors, and you'd get like, a little Christmas gift, whether it was like a mini jigsaw puzzle or socks or a tie pin or something like that. But now with bourbon as popular as it is, you can't get all that in the way that you used to. And you also definitely are not able to get your name on a barrel. But I was in like the last group or some of the last groups where you did get your name on a barrel. And so a couple of years ago, my barrel came of age. And the way that they treat it, and I used to think that it was, you'd go and you'd get bottles from that barrel. But instead what it is they take that barrel and they blend it with other ambassador barrels. So the first pour is from my ambassador barrel, or my ambassador blend, I suppose.
Getting low there.
Yeah, well, I have a couple other bottles, but I also, even though it is getting low, wanted to share something that not many people have had. So it's close to Maker's Mark, but it is uniquely its own blend of makers.
Do you know like what do they give you any like notes about what's different from a regular bottle? Do they kind of clue you in on the blend?
It's so the barrels in it are all roughly like 6 or 7 years old, which is typically what they use for makers anyway. It's still 90 proof, which is all Maker's Mark across the board. I don't think, because I'm pretty sure that they will sometimes blend in, like 8, 9, 10-year-old bourbon with makers just to beef it up a little bit if they need it. But I think with the ambassador bottles, they are just using those 6 or 7-year-old bourbons. So it's not got as much, not to, lead the witness or anything. But it at least in terms of like, some of the maybe darker tannic qualities that you would get from older bourbons, especially from makers, that's not necessarily as present here. So, but it is still very inherently Maker's Mark, I feel like. Sweet.
I've had a good amount of Maker's Mark in my life. Yep.
Yeah. But regardless, man. Cheers. Appreciate you again. It's a bit fruitier for me too than Maker's typically goes. And I think it's, again, some of those like younger barrels not having a counter with, older barrels being mingled in. But it's so unique. I love being able to pull at this and share it with people too.
I think for sharing something that, I mean, you certainly can't get in stores.
Yeah.
Very red around the name.
Fun. Yeah. Let's turn for a moment and talk about your not just your experience with bourbon, but you're also something of a cocktail connoisseur as well, from what I understand. So I want to look at your drinking history is a weird way to put that, but I am curious about. Yeah, I do want to take some time and especially look at your time with bourbon and also beyond. So
people ask like, oh, okay, you have a political background, or I went to school for politics. That makes sense. History nerd, whatever. Are you, do I have any culinary training? And the answer is no. I'm a good home chef and a better home chef through Cooking with Congress. very much so. But I do have, like cocktails is my background. That's the only like, culinary training I really had. I taught cocktail classes for about 6 years at a distillery in downtown LA. I worked there for a long time. I learned as much as I could about bourbon and whiskey in general, gin, vodka, liqueurs, amari, etc. Got to be in on a lot of the conversations, on the distillery room floor, and I feel like I just built up a knowledge from that. And I feel like at this point, cocktails are definitely my specialty. It's still my party trick. If I go anywhere, I'm always batching a cocktail instead of bringing a bottle of wine, or bringing beer or whatever else.
Yeah.
Because it's unique. It's also easy, and frankly, I just have so many leftover bottles from working at a distillery that I got to use them up. Got like
Now,
which
was
like a
that
really-
Green Bar?
It was, yeah.
Okay,
So I worked
gotcha.
for many years there. Great products, and all, especially I think the liqueurs and the Amari were pretty special. If you've ever had like the poppy or the ginger liqueur, some really cool stuff that they're making there.
Yeah, gotcha. It's cool. I had, not to like be weird, I guess, but like I had seen those bottles on your home bar too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I have never heard of Green Bar before. And so I just had to look them up and saw that they were in LA. I was like fascinated by some of their products. So
yeah,
anyway.
if you can get your hands on the poppy, it's like if you're into Amari generally, it's got like a bitter floral component it's more interesting than Aperol and less bracing than Campari. I love it, and I would happily recommend it to everyone. In terms of their spirits, the Garden Vodka is probably my absolute favorite, and it's just a weird bottle. It's a weird herbaceous vodka. I use it all the time, though. I still use it all the time. So if you get a chance, check those out. They never made a bourbon, but they did do a single malt American style whiskey using different woods, and they did a cask strength version that I'm fond of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll get towards
anything.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Got some cask stuff here. Yeah, some 55. I think theirs is like 57.5%, if I remember.
Yeah.
So it had some firepower.
Yeah, we're moving towards higher proof, as I'd like to do with flights later on. So we'll get there in just a moment. But how are you doing on the makers?
Good. Yeah, I like the makers. Yeah, it's bright. It's a little fruity. It's I haven't had makers, just makers plain, straight bourbon in a little while, but it feels like how that tasted with a little twist, Palate cleanser here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we will pour, as I said, 2 and 3 together if you are able to.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Together meaning in 2 separate glasses.
Yeah, not in the same glass. Yeah.
They're like seems quite silly. All right.
Not that I don't love a good home blend, but
the home blend is fun. We all have an infinity bottle, right? But
oh yeah, I've got a few actually. I like doing infinity bottles with single barrels as well. So if there's a Russell's Reserve or Knob Creek, I love having just a side infinity bottle. But yeah, I've got mine from just as many random things as possible too. But
I don't really weird stuff too going into it. I have no it's truly whatever the last dredge of a bottle is, it's going in there. I'm pretty sure I put like Screwball in one of them. I was like, yeah, sure, a touch of Screwball, why not? Make it interesting.
Nice. Well. So the only thing I'll say about this before we dive into these two side by side is that they are from the same distillery.
Okay.
There are other similarities, but we'll get to them momentarily. So
okay.
The inquisitive noises have begun.
All right. Cheers on number 2.
Cheers on number 2. we've shifted gears quite a bit.
Oh yeah, we're
from
much
the makers.
rougher in this way. There's something there I don't recognize. Oh, interesting.
I like that.
Yeah, lots more on the kind of tannins and like T notes.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a little darker, a little bit more punch.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little bit more spice to it as well. We can go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm not sure if the higher, if there's any like a small amount of rye blended in or something, we could definitely get a little punch. I wouldn't say it's necessarily rye, but has a little bit of that spiciness.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try number 3 as well.
Yeah, let's go for it.
You should make a smash cut of all the guests going on this show. And then it like symphony. I bet you could do a full symphony with the amount of like nonverbal sounds that come from the show.
I would love that. I'll just do and appropriate just because that's the song you always use, but the Star Spangled Banner with. So there is one distinct difference between these two, even though they're from the same distillery. And I'm curious if you can pick up on what it is.
The third one,
if not,
to
it's
me,
okay. But
not sure if I can, but the third one to me has a little, it not in an unpleasant way, but it's a little stickier on the back of my throat than the second one.
I agree.
I can't tell if that's proof or if it's probably. It's lacking. To me, it's lacking that like woody spice from the second one, or it's not as strong coming through in number 3 for me.
It is funny you said that like it's sticking in the back of your throat because that's all I can notice now. Like it's just hanging like right by. Well, I don't have tonsils anymore, but right where like my tonsils would be.
New tonsils.
The tonsils there. Yes, I'm growing tonsils now, folks. It's all bourbon induced. So I'll go ahead and do the review. Well, first of all, I'll ask you, which between the two do you prefer?
I prefer number 2.
Okay. I was curious if you would. For a couple of reasons. One, it's geared more towards like cocktail usage in a way. It's more of the versatile pour, whereas the second of the two is more of a sipper and more for the bourbon nerd, I guess. Like it has won awards and it quickly became hard to find because it won like San Francisco World Spirits Competition Bourbon of the Year or something. But they're both from Heaven Hill in Bardstown, Kentucky. They are both bottled and bond bourbons, so 100 proof. The first of the two is Evan Williams bottled and bond. So 4 years old. Probably. I would be surprised if it were 5 years old. But as we know with bottled and bond, it has to be at least 4 years old. But the second one of the two is Henry McKenna bottled and bond. So we went from a 4-year-old $20 bottled and bond to what is now like a $60 10-year single barrel bottled and bond.
This is a fantastic discovery for me. That's like it's such good news. It's good news. Yeah. I'm like, oh, we can get something for times less that I like. Hell yeah! And I do.
Go ahead.
And I do in cocktails too. So like, some of my favorite bourbons, my go-tos are usually great, like Buffalo Trace. Like I'll use Buffalo Trace all the time because it's great for cocktails, right? Like it's just kind of built that. And and a lot of people I know love sipping it too. Um, so it makes sense to have something like that on my bar. But
Yeah.
I'm also not familiar with Henry McKenna. This is new to me.
Yeah. But again, same distillery, same proof. Age is really the only difference, but they're the same mash bill as well. It's the 78. What do they do? 78. No. 75, 12, 13, I think is their mash bill, if that math comes out right. Or 85. I don't know.
5, 12, 13. Yeah, 75, 12, 13, right?
Okay, yeah. So because the malted barley is just slightly over what the rye is. So yeah, they're both rye bourbons. We went from the wheated bourbon with Maker's Mark to now rye bourbons, and you were on the right track with the spice coming from at least a rye component there. So good job.
I love a good rye. That's like and I love bourbon as well. I mean, why not love them all?
Exactly.
But rye,
I'm an equal opportunity drinker.
Exactly. I have no allegiances to one over the other. Scotch, great. Like that's kind of how I treat all food as well. I'm like, I don't have any allegiances or barely any. There's pretty much nothing I won't try. No cuisine. I'm like, no, I don't like that cuisine. Like, just give it to me. That's great.
It's funny that you say that, and I know that like it's easy to focus on some of the more outlandish moments that you have with Cooking with Congress, but recently you threw out the presidential breakfast gauntlet, right, for people who wanted to challenge themselves to basically eat a bunch of cottage cheese on President's Day, and that was. I wish I had not just gotten back from Colombia, because I 100% would have done it, because I actually do like cottage cheese quite a bit. But between foods that folks might have a hard time stomaching, on that end of the spectrum, and then fish aspic, which I feel like or in some cases tongue aspic, which you cooked for. That was a Mary Todd Lincoln recipe, if I'm not. Yeah, who was a Kentucky native as well. I am curious, how often does your family partake in some of the weirder foods that you cook for the show?
Oh, almost never. I have a 6-year-old. He's not touching most of this stuff. And hilariously, my wife and daughter are both pescatarian, so they don't eat meat. So I'm trying to make tongue in the house whenever they're both gone. Like they're gone tonight, actually. They're doing like a camping trip. And I was like, great. So I, no joke, have tongue defrosting in the fridge right now. Because I'm like, they're gone.
Incredible.
Time to do a tongue recipe.
Like for lengua tacos, or just for like an episode of the.
An episode, yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
No, I've got like 7 quail, a tongue, a big slab of ham. I'm like going meat crazy while they're gone for episode. Spare them the smells. That's really what it is. Even with a good range hood, you still get some smells in the house. We own a lot of candles because of this. So many.
Well, I I don't envy your family if they are averse to such things, but that made me laugh quite a bit. I want to ask too, like on the side of, and I'm sure that you've gotten this plenty, but we're in a weird position right now in this country, where a lot of the people who have said for many, many years that they're, apolitical, or they don't like to engage with politics, have now found themselves becoming more and more political, or at least letting themselves express their politics more and more. Like even myself showing, more of what my politics actually are on the podcast. like, and for better or worse, I don't care. Like, I just, when it seems appropriate, I'll speak about it. But within the context of Cooking with Congress, you do maintain a fairly neutral, I wouldn't even say like apolitical stance. It's just kind of like, here's what people ate. Like, even with the JD Vance episode recently, you put that out and it was like, this is just bad food that he made, not because you dislike him or like him. It was just like, this is just bad, right? But for you with that content, is it tough to remain neutral at times?
There's this like there's this quote, or this, I don't know if it was a quote or something, but like I kind of view the show almost the way that like David Lynch views his movies. If I don't know if you're a David Lynch fan, or if you've watched,
I love David Lynch. Yeah,
there you go. Right, like
yeah,
Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet. I mean, there's just so many that I absolutely love that he created, and people would always want to ask deeper questions about, like, what does this mean? What does that mean? I'm like, well, who's the log lady? I don't understand. Like, and he's like, I made the show. I'm not answering those questions. This was me telling you everything I could tell you because I can't tell you in a different way, right? Like, I am expressing myself in this form. Yeah. And that's it. Like, here you go. This is the way that I kind of like express it. And so almost in a similar way, I'm like, this is sort of my political viewpoint in a way. Like, the show is my political viewpoint, and in and of itself, if that makes sense. And I feel like people can, and there's like different interpretations. Certain episodes may feel different, but if you take it as a whole, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I think I understand like what how this person views politics and the world. And because I approach, eating like America very differently than I approach eating like a politician, I think. Right. Like, there's so much more, at least in the way that I feel it too. I'm like, oh, these are just people, these are like teachers or welders or data analysts or, stay-at-home parents or whatever else. And there's a lot more, I guess, like empathy and understanding for
100%
for that versus like someone who has like, well, I have a net worth of, $46 million. I'm going to eat ham moose. Like, that's right? So I kind of derive it from there. And at times I've spoken up when things are important to me. I'm like a food creator, and so it's very like I like ache whenever people don't have food. And it feels very silly sometimes when I'm there. I'm like, all right, I've got 8,200 calories in front of me that I'm making for entertainment and education and my own curiosity, but like, people don't have that. And so I think those things are important for me to talk about. And sometimes I feel a little crazy when I see people with like food halls or something that's very disconnected, and they don't like also support like food banks or something like that. Like, yeah, like go help the people who can't eat because you're clearly eating well. And so I try to do that as best as I can, but it's messy. And I think you're right that it's sometimes there's a pressure to speak up and speak out in the right ways, and everyone just kind of has to choose the way that makes sense to them. That's a kind of sloppy answer, but
no, I mean, I think it's appropriate to just and that was not with the intention of being like, tell everybody who you voted for in 2024. You know what I mean? Like, and because by no means is it like a gotcha kind of thing. Like, it's just clearly, I just want people to understand that, like, regardless of how, I think there's still like some of us who try to maintain this, like, we can all still try to be friends mentality in some capacity. Like, I think that's why I drink whiskey with a wide array of people, because it's like it's a great way to bring people together. And
I feel very strongly the same direction. I grew up in a kind of multi-political household in terms of viewpoints. I've had friends all across every single aisle over time. And I also think that there's a lot more that connects us as human beings naturally, and
Completely.
stuff just gets in the way of that, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Powers that be can get in the way of that. And so I've just found, especially with food and drink, like there's a lot of connection that's already there. I think it's
Yeah.
funny sometimes even with the Eating Like America series, people will assume they know the gender or the politics of a particular person, and it's like you have no idea who you're talking to. You just know they're, a person
Yeah.
just like you. This is what they're eating every single day. And so it's kind of funny to me to think about like, oh, I love this episode. This is really cool. And like, what if I told you it's the exact opposite person of you,
Yeah.
You feel differently. I was like, well, this person's a Democrat. This person's a Republican. This person, XYZ.
Independent. Yeah.
I believe this, I believe that. It's like I could add all of that and then you're going to feel a certain way. Or I could remove that context and just give you, well, this is what a person's eating in a given day. And it is humanizing. And, it's almost, I'm not going to do that eventually and be like, haha, see, they're they voted. But I think it does
Go
that,
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I think like it sort of gives people that like human connection first, which frankly is how people come together. We remove all those other barriers to understanding that I think the media and lots of folks in power really, really enjoy having in place because it bleeds, it leads, right?
Right. I speaking on the Eating Like America series, which for folks who don't know too, you started this series where it's taking a look at people from it's 453 congressional districts in the
435 plus, if you want to do 2-minute seats, it could be 535, but yeah, 435 congressional districts for the moment. Yeah.
I got the dyslexia mix up there. But yeah, 435 congressional districts in the states. Bennett started a series where he was taking one person from each district and eating like them for a day. And I don't think I've ever gone to a comment section as quickly as I did for the person who was a bartender. And just knowing that people were going to be like, they're an alcoholic. We gotta worry. We're all worried about them. Please, God, take care of it. And I was like, brother, you gotta just like understand this is an abnormal situation for a person who, that this is like an extreme. Like, this is probably a person who is talking about what it's like when they are working a shift at the bar, not, their actual, real day, waking up and drinking, an entire bottle of Four Roses, basically.
So a little bit
maybe.
So the day is supposed to be like an average day, not and I checked in with him about that. I was like, just want to be clear. This is like your average day at that point in your life. Pretty much, like that's kind of what it is. And the funny thing is so many people are like, this is insane. This is dangerous. This is XYZ. Lots of people would just send love and concern. Other people who are bartenders are like, yep, this looks about right. Like they saw themselves in it, and I think again, like it's not supposed to be like, well, all bartenders drink this way or all people from Washington's 7th district. This is how they eat or anything like that. It's just like, this is just a slice that you get to see. And I feel like a lot of people out there can feel seen when they see those other diets. Like, oh, it's not just me. A lot of like stay-at-home moms have seen a stay-at-home mom diet and be like, yep, I see myself in this future, or, whatever it is, everyone's occupations, they tend to see themselves in those diets. And so it was a kind of funny moment. I also did reach out to them and be like, how you doing now? Like, are you good? Like just with pure, like I was like, I don't want to be, I don't want to
genuine concern.
We could swear on the podcast.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
I didn't want to be an asshole and just be like, hey, like, seems like you got a problem or something. But after living through that day, I was like, this is a lot, man. And I had to at least check in and make sure she was okay. So, and it's improved for her over time. She's like, that was a dark time. It was a tough time. I was stressed and working like 14-hour shifts or whatever else. So like you said, there's her own context for it. But that was a tough day. A lot of comments. There are a few episodes that get heated in the comments. A lot of them are pretty chill, especially on TikTok for whatever reason. Like I'd say like the comments are like 99% like I'm happy. I can live in the comment section all day, which is rare for social media.
Yeah, it's Instagram where it seems to get real like real intense between people.
Levels.
But
Yeah, like TikTok, people are like, it's pretty cool. All right, like really
yeah.
positive. And Instagram's like, okay, it gets a little intense. People are judging a little bit more on people's diets. And then you go to Facebook, it's like, not safe. Get out
Yeah.
of here.
I'm gonna leave this alone. Touch with a
Yeah,
10-foot
I
pole.
really like, yeah, and there's only so much time in the day. I try to respond as much as I can to like DMs and comments, but Facebook is unfortunately just the one place where like I can't engage too much on there at all.
You would be, I think you would be frustrated if I submitted like with what my daily meal typically consists of, because I am a typically an intermittent faster. I usually just drink coffee in the morning, and then I kind of pick around at lunchtime, and then
Okay.
like dinner is usually like my biggest meal. And I think you would go between like I'm happy, that I at least get coffee in the morning. I'm a little frustrated that I'm not, eating a whole lot when I'm at what would ostensibly be like my hungriest. But then like I at least get like half of a rotisserie chicken or roasted like Mediterranean chicken and some
Yeah, there you
rice
go.
and hummus at at dinner time and some
That
bourbon.
sounds pretty good. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there might be some like struggle hours between 2 and 3, I would bet, if I followed this. But if I had to skip a meal, it would be lunch. Like
Yeah.
I can coffee for a while, some breakfast. If you're forcing me to skip a meal, I would skip lunch every single time. I love
Yeah.
a breakfast. I love a dinner. Lunch is the least of
I'm
all.
kind of the same way. I'm kind of the same way. Like I absolutely adore breakfast, but lunch is like I see lunch more as like social or
Yes,
as like work, a work necessity at times. It's like we need to meet.
100%.
We're gonna meet at lunch. I'm not meeting you for dinner. Like I am
The knack. Need a
tuned
dinner.
out. I'm clocked out by dinner time. But
Yeah,
anyway,
lunch is that's you want to take me to like a nice, Jewish deli for lunch, great. You want to like
there you go.
go, then I'm in. Like we can do a lunch, but lunch on my own is the laziest possible meal. I like it's nothing. Nothing
Yeah.
or yeah, like you saw like a mug of cereal. I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
might be
exactly.
pretty lazy.
I love the mug of cereal. There was something about that that tickled me. But
I had it. I had it this morning.
there you
Yeah. I gave you the honest truth of like what I eat in a day, at least on my off days. On my on days, which is twice a week, man, if anything, it's a wide range of absurd things. Oh, that's the
Well, let's
title of
move
my
on.
memoir. A wide
A
range of
wide
absurd.
range of absurd
There
things.
you go. Found it.
Well, you had mentioned how much you love rye, and ironically enough, sample 4 is a rye.
Ah,
And this is actually a rye that is kind of geared towards cocktails as well, because it is named after a cocktail, and is actually the newest iteration of this brand, but it is the foolproof Sazerac rye at 125 proof. I have not made a Sazerac yet with the foolproof, but I did it with the 100 proof that came out last year, and it was phenomenal. I am a big fan of Sazeracs anyway, but
Me too.
I'm very much
Underrated.
looking forward to. Oh, 100%, 100%. But there's something about the 125 proof that I'm very excited to get into with the with the Sazerac.
Oh, even just smelling like a 125, like it hits your nostrils.
Yeah.
It's still, it's not the morning here, but it's the early afternoon, so it's giving me fuel for the rest of my work day. It's like smelling salts in the most beautiful way.
There you go. Ready when you are, man.
Cheers.
That's quite the leap from 100 proof to 125. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Mm. I really, there's enough here that I can certainly make a Sazerac with this later, and I will.
I would love to see I actually might make one myself too. I think I need to. All right, we'll make dueling Sazeracs. What is your absinthe of choice?
St. George.
I think, what do I have nearby? I actually might have St. George.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Amazing.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, a big fan of St. George generally. I love their gins too. The terroir gin is fantastic.
I was wrong. It was Mephisto.
Okay. Great. So, well, very different, but similar.
Yeah.
Sazeracs.
So, some of the inevitabilities of doing content online is eventually you run out of a finite pool that you can draw from, right? There's only been so many presidents. There's only so many first ladies, so many vice presidents. And not that you have run the course on all of the presidents so far, but you recently took a kind of a left turn and did an episode where you paid tribute to your recently deceased a grandmother, which my condolences to you, by the way. Having just lost a elder member of our family too, I know how large of a hole that leaves. But I know that there's a sense of like closure that doing that kind of tribute might help bring you. But what was that creative process like for you? Was that something that kind of jumped out immediately, or were you using that as part of your grieving too?
Well, first, I'm again just sorry to hear. I'm sorry for your loss too.
No, I appreciate it.
Even people in their 90s, and I know as someone in their
Yeah.
90s. Yeah, you lived a long life, but there's some kind of like glue. I don't know about your family, but like my wife's family, my family, there's some kind of glue that happened that like that generation represented, and there was something unique about them that is lost as we've, I don't have any grandparents alive anymore. My wife doesn't either. This is like
I don't either. Yeah.
It feels heavier for that reason. And my grandma lived to 98, died a year ago. She definitely influenced my life in a myriad of ways, but a lot in the political realm, I guess, and just like being interested and engaged in politics, and history and presidents, So I think I definitely grieved for a long time, but I miss her a lot. And I think about her a lot when I'm doing the show, because there's like a bit of her spirit in the show. She was like, if you had to picture her, she would be in like a full plain white tracksuit with like a red, white, and blue ascot, she'd look like if Barbara Bush had a little zest, which is such a strange like element to bring into the show, but I think it's kind of there in the background, with like the national anthem playing.
I love it. It's perfect.
And so I kind of just was talking with my mom, and we were talking about a story where she ate 14 blueberry pancakes while she was pregnant with my mom, and I was like, oh my god, that's a lot of how did you do that? I get like some of my genes from her because I can put it away, and I used to be a lot bigger and I could really put it away.
And I understand.
And
big boys unite.
I was at a wedding, and this is a total side note, but I was at a wedding and met a couple of other guys who were all previous big boys, and all talking and hanging out. I was like, all right, I got a question for you, former big boys. Do you still sweat like a big boy? And they're like, yes. I was like, dude, no matter what the temperature is, no one else is sweating. I'm sweating. I was like, me too.
All the time. All the
all the
time.
time.
Never stops.
It's still, I sweat like a big boy still. And I'll
Yeah.
never stop probably. So strange. Anyway, sorry about that. But
No. It's
being,
all good. I understand.
just hitting it all the time.
Yep.
We got to talking and I was like, what did grandma eat like? I started to reminisce about what my grandma ate like. And then my mom had some recollections that I had lost over the years. And I was like, I think I want to do this for her birthday. I think that'd be really special to me. It was really cool to eat like my dad for a day. And I learned so much and I get to embody presidents and people all across the country. And I thought, well, I get closer to the people that I'm eating like. And so why wouldn't I pick someone close to me already? And it was really emotional, and I got to be a little bit more vulnerable there. It also clearly like touched a nerve with a lot of people in a positive way. It was a really wonderful response that I did not anticipate because I made it sort of for me, which is funny because it's always those things that seem to take off, right? You're like, oh, I'm just doing this for me. Everyone's like, I see that. And when you do it for everyone else, and like, it's not as authentic, right?
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was a trip down memory lane. It was a revelation. I totally forgot that she had bed Pringles, that she just like kept a can of Pringles in her bed. So she woke up and she's like immediate salt. I loved it. And I think I want to continue that and like give that to other people as well, right? To like remember their grandparents by what they ate. And so maybe they'll be able to see it, see them come alive in this different way. So you talk about, reaching the end of the presidents, like, yes, eventually, like I will have gotten to all the presidents in terms of their daily days of eating, same with the first ladies. There's always more politicians. One is born every moment, fortunately or unfortunately. But that was an idea. I was like, what a cool way to maybe bring people back to life, or even, make them feel more alive if they are, but they're in their 90s or they've faded, but they can, see someone eat like their grandparent, for an entire day, in a kind of like honoring way. So I think I'm going to try that whenever I've got time in the near future.
I recently went back and watched your worst recipes of 2025 video, and I laughed at your bologna cake recipe, and it made me think about my wife's grandfather who just passed, and he always said that he'd have been perfectly happy just living in a trailer and fishing every day and eating bologna sandwiches. And I was like, maybe that wouldn't be a good one to submit to Bennett for.
Oh, I would totally do that one. I grew up on bologna sandwiches too, I think it's of a certain, era, certain part of the country, certain socioeconomic class. Like if you're not eating bologna, I don't know. I don't understand you if you're not eating bologna sandwiches.
I mean, I definitely grew up on them too. I haven't had bologna in I don't know how long, but it is funny though, because I watched that part of the video and I was like, man, you know what really kind of sounds good right now is bologna. I could go
love
for a little
by that one.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not in the 9 or 10 layer bologna cake with what was it? Whipped cream in between. Not whipped cream. It was
cream cheese and then a ton of
cheese.
horseradish on top. Yeah. Just on the top though.
Yeah, I don't think I would go that
impressive
direction.
Though. It's kind of like watching the fish in Jello thing and be like, I can go for just a big old branzino. Okay, that's fine. Good for you.
Okay, yeah, that's one way to go about it. You got to get your solids and your jigglies all at one time, I suppose. But
yeah, that's the new food pyramid. I heard there's a jigglies section.
Jigglies, yeah. Well, I mean, you know what? I'm not going to get into it anyway. Bennett, we got one pour left. It is actually, because I know that you have had some Four Roses on the show, and funny enough, brought it up earlier too. I went with a Four Roses single barrel. They do the single barrels at barrel strength. So let me actually refer to my notes because I did the math. It's 11 years, 2 months, 115.2 proof. So we're dipping back down just a little bit. And it's their OBSQ recipe. So it's one of the high rye at 36% rye mash bills. And as they put it, lightly floral. But I never trust distillery tasting notes. I just prefer to go with my own. But I'm curious. I don't know what the Four Roses distribution is like out there in California.
You can find a lot of Four Roses out here.
Gotcha.
Thankfully, pretty much everything is distributed in California. Thankfully, we have some great, massive liquor stores too that carry hard to find bottles, and I'm very appreciative. Yep, green chartreuse. You got a special order of that still.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
I say, I don't know exactly what the distribution is like out there. Like, I don't have a friend who lives in LA and does bourbon content. It just.
Oh, really?
Yeah. His name's Clifton. He does a YouTube. Actually, he has a podcast now too. It's called Bourbon Bites. He does a nerdy side of things as well. I'll have to connect you all sometime. But
yeah, definitely.
Definitely the oldest bourbon of the bunch. This was a selection from a local store here too, Liquor Barn. But I'm excited for you to find out about this one. But cheers, man.
Oh, cheers.
I'm a big Four Roses fan.
Same.
Just in general. But this is a phenomenal pick.
This is a great one to end on.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't know if I catch a lot of the floral. Well, maybe in the back end. On the exhale. Interestingly enough, but otherwise I love that percentage of rye picked up.
I prefer their high rye recipes to the lower ones. And OBSQ has not historically been one of my favorite recipes, but there is something about this particular bottle, this particular pick, that has just been one of my favorites in recent times. But
this is my favorite so far of all five.
I'd have to agree. I think the Saz Rye might be a close second, but
I'm gonna go. If I have to rank them.
Oh yeah, please do. Actually,
it's controversial probably, but I'm gonna go 5, 4, 2, 1, 3.
Oh wow! Okay.
I know.
Wow.
The popular goal, and it just, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me.
I did throw you a couple of single barrels, and single barrels are some of the more divisive pours out there. So it's understandable. It happens from time to time.
I still like it. Don't get me wrong. I still like it, but I
know, dude. I'm messing with you a little bit. It's okay.
But yeah, 5 is excellent. This is so spicy, strong pepper. There's I don't know if you have it where you are, but there's this wild plant called spice bush, and it's almost.
I'm not sure we do.
So my dad will go and forage, and he'll find spice bush berries and grind them down, and it has this note of spice bush in here. That's
ooh.
To a real nostalgic place because I grew up eating, ground spice bush. Really lovely.
Interesting.
It's like
I'll have to look it up. Yeah.
Punchy allspice almost. It's somewhere in between.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Gotcha. Because I was wondering what it was adjacent to, so you went ahead and answered the question for me.
Yeah.
Bennett, before I let you go, I have to ask you too. What you've still got a handful of presidents left, of course, in in Cooking with Congress. Who are you most looking forward to on your docket right now, and who are you least looking forward to as well?
Well, I just finished up Millard Fillmore last week, the world's most famous U.S. president, probably. I've got some big ones coming up that are timed for the July 4th this year. So Washington,
Yeah.
Jefferson. I am most looking forward. I haven't done Jefferson yet. I've cooked a bunch of his. I'm looking forward to it because he was an epicure and his staff were incredible cooks. Excuse me, not staff. His enslaved chefs were incredible cooks, and so they were
Yikes.
some of the people who brought over. Yeah, I've said staff before, and people are like, not staff exactly. They did not have minimum wage. I was like, that is 100%.
You are correct.
But his like Hemmings brought over mac and cheese essentially, and Jefferson popularized vanilla in the United States and ice cream. So I'm really excited to try his day. He also drank very, very well, and a lot, as a lot of the founding fathers did. So I'm very excited for those days. I've already kind of slapped down the menus for them.
There we go.
I'm least looking forward to. I think Martin Van Buren, which is really specific,
Ooh,
but I do
okay.
think my hands on an entire boar's head for that one, and so I just feel like it's going to be. I haven't done that before. I've never cooked an entire head of anything except like a fish. So, and here's the thing: like I'm saying, least looking forward to. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Like I
sure, of
love
course, yeah.
right? But I'm gonna have to do it on a day that my wife and daughter are not here. I'm also right now working on a cookbook, and so I'm looking forward mostly to finishing up the recipe testing and getting to the next phase, which has been a lot of fun and also a lot of late nights. So as soon as that's out of the way, then I can really focus on those last, I think, 8 or 9 presidents that I haven't done yet.
That's so exciting, man. I don't think I knew that you were working on the cookbook, so that's
it's a secret, not a secret, but a not on social media yet secret. So but
gotcha.
I can give it to you and your many legions of fans, but I'm not going to give it to everyone on social media for a little while yet. There's a whole strategic thing that smarter people than me are in charge of.
Well, even when the Cooking with Congress fans do come and listen to the episode, hopefully they don't go to your comments and constantly ask, when's the cookbook coming out? When's the cookbook coming out? Because
I would love it if they did that, and I just want to answer them.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So that is your sign to please don't be a dick. Post constructive comments, not annoying brigading ones, please. Okay, last question, and then I'll let you go. Being the presidential historian that you are, Lincoln, does he belong more to Kentucky or Illinois?
Kentucky.
Okay, all right.
Kentucky.
I
ate
right
his
answer.
food for the day, and I ate his entire diet. It's so Kentucky.
So Kentucky.
I think.
Why did he eat an apple that way?
Like he's eating it
like he's a horse.
Yeah, like reverse apple eating. I was a little nervous to do it on camera. I'll be totally honest. I feel like that could have been blurred out potentially. I don't think people should eat apples that way.
I can't imagine why.
Slightly disturbing. I live in California. Like I am very Californian, I guess, in a lot of ways. Like I like sunshine. I don't know what else. Like I am out. It's 85 degrees here right now.
That's so nice.
I look like I'm headed to like Palm Springs to go lay by a pool with my shirt or whatever. But where do I belong? Like I'm from Pennsylvania, and there's like that core of Yinzer in me, that Pittsburgh, whatever, that like never really leaves. And so I think Abe belongs in Kentucky. Yeah, or Kentucky.
We literally have his birthplace as a historical landmark.
Yeah,
in Kentucky. Like, Why does Illinois have the land of Lincoln on their license plates?
They've got a lot of other stuff too, you know.
They've got a lot of other stuff. Give us Lincoln, man. I don't get it. Like,
Like that's Chicago, and like, well, that's one of the major four cities in the United States. They can rest on other laurels, I think. But you know, it's a fight between you guys. I said my piece, and now you can take it and use it against the Illini.
I'm building a coalition of people who believe that Lincoln belongs to Kentucky. So you're actually the first. I say that. I just made up my mind. So
somehow Abe Lincoln has come up on every other podcast episode. Maybe you do have a specific guest type.
No, on episode 423, this is the first time it's ever happened. So
there we go.
Bennett Ray, Cookin with Congress. Where can people find you? Anything else you want to plug before I get you out of here?
Yeah, at Cookin with Congress. No G in Cookin, like it's old fashioned Kentucky home cooking. Pretty much everywhere. Instagram and YouTube, Facebook if you like to get filthy in the comments, and TikTok. As well as I got a Substack, so just like a monthly newsletter where I share some recipes and other things. And mostly just plug and go check it out if it's interesting to you. If not, then that's all right too. And I've loved being on this podcast more than most others, I gotta say. And I don't say that often. And it's not just because you gave me free alcohol. It was really a great conversation. I really enjoyed it, Perry.
Appreciate you, Bennett. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Folks, we got a couple of segments left here on the podcast before we get you all out of here. The first one is, well, we do have barrel rings. Kyle, I think you should be able to hear them.
Let's try it.
Okay. Let me pull it up. This is a segment of the show that you can actually be a part of if you send in a text message or a voicemail. The number is 859-428-8253. Once again, that's 859-428-8253. Text messages, voicemails. We'll be happy to listen to them, read them out here on the show. We got a text that came from Andy, and he said, I just corked off with Kyle. Great move on scooping our boy Kyle up, Perry. You guys have the perfect dynamic. Keep up the great work, homies.
Let's go. Shout out to Andy. This sample of JD10 is actually from my boy Andy, so thank you, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so again, we just corked off again together, and you didn't even know it. So
I
shout out, Andy. You'll have to cork off with us again. Yeah, that's my dog.
I don't know if I've even met Andy.
I don't think you have yet.
So I will have to do that before too long. But
definitely
great new member of the Timbib family. That's phenomenal. We have a voicemail as well from he introduces himself. So here we go.
Hello, Perry and Kyle. This is Mike Schneider out here on the left coast. Wanted to give you a tips and bits, sort of, but it's whiskey you can see on YouTube called Independent Spirit, another whiskey film, Whiskey Without an E, because it is about independent bottlers in Scotland or Great Britain and Ireland, I should say. Very interesting movie, which then leads me to think about why is independent bottling not more of a thing here in the United States? But we sort of have independent bottling with NDTs, but they can't or don't normally give credit to the distilleries in which they're getting their product from, unlike the independent bottlers in you beat the distillery you're getting it from. Anyhow, great movie. They made this documentarian has made other good movies about Scotch called The Water of Life. So hopefully you can take a look at it. And what are your thoughts on independent bottling / NDTs? Have a wonderful day.
So from my understanding, as far as like independent bottlings in the States and crediting the original distilleries, a lot of it goes back to naming rights and paying for the naming rights of those distilleries. And the case that I can at least point to is Pride of Anderson County, which, not to dig up old wounds or anything, but there's a very infamous episode of the podcast where Eric and I railed on the Pride of Anderson County bottling for its pricing, which, I mean, I don't even remember exactly what it was. I've kind of put that out of my memory because we unfairly maligned the pricing of it. Just considering, I'm taking, my points of criticism and saying it was unfair. Eric can stand up for himself in whatever way he wants to. I'm not speaking for him. But my point being that we talked about the fact that it was Wild Turkey single barrels being bottled for what, like 300 times or 300% markup on what you would normally get on a Russell's, essentially, or not. That's not even like the exact right number. But looking at it through the lens of what was actually happening, was the fact that Dave Jennings and Rare Character had purchased the naming rights of Wild Turkey to put it onto the label. And there were a couple of things that went into how expensive it was for that bottling. One was how short the barrels were that they wound up bottling. And the other was the fact that it was just expensive to use the naming of Wild Turkey in general. And so it kind of compounded in and of itself. And so I think that's why you see a lot more of, putting mash bills on there, or,
I think
in like Lawrenceburg.
It's a combo of that, as well as I think also just, I think these distilleries are very proud of what they do.
Yes.
And they are so proud of what they do. They don't want someone else to take their name and potentially tarnish their name without their say in short terms, right? So I think there are a lot of single malt Scotch distilleries that are willing to get that payment up front from those independent bottlers, because there's a sense of like understanding that what these independent bottlers are doing aren't necessarily tied to the distilleries, while also being, I guess, technically tied to the distilleries. We do have a couple independent bottlers here in the US. Lost Lantern, I can think of specifically. And they've partnered with like Frey Ranch and I think Starlight and a couple of those like smaller distilleries. And I think those smaller distilleries would be more interested in doing the independent bottling route, because it helps them get their name out. And I think that's another part where the single malt side is okay with it as well, because there's a bunch of people who are making single malt not with the intent of making single malt whiskey, right? They're primarily just making whiskey so that they can either put it into Johnny Walker or they'll put it in Ballantines or stuff like that. We just have a different methodology here in the States when it comes to whiskey in general. And I think another thing about that Pride situation was they paid to cherry pick those barrels as well, not just to use the name. They also wanted to cherry pick their barrels. They wanted exactly what they wanted from those barrels. So that's another part of why it was so expensive, right? They were basically making their own Master's Keep, and that's kind of why we saw what happened to Master's Keep, allegedly. I would assume, because I would react the same way if I were Campari and I saw that happen. So that's just an alleged
not
thing.
to get too into the weeds of it, but like that was my initial criticism of it, that like,
Sure,
you know, if there's an independent bottler that is going to hike up the price on, you know, on turkey barrels that they have sourced, what's going to stop Campari from hiking up their own prices? You know, like that is what I had postured originally.
sure.
I'm not even saying that is exactly what happened, but I'm not even saying that it was inaccurate, an inaccurate read of the future necessarily, because there's a way of understanding how, you know, people who want to make money are going to try to make money, and
Sure.
that was my assessment. That was my commentary at the time. And I think that people were very upset with me for that being my first foray into capital criticism in that period. Even though, like, I do know that there is still a very large, you know, consumerism basis that, of course, makes this podcast still happen. Even though, you know, there are still conversations that you might not see behind the scenes about workers' rights and that kind of thing that work within the podcast, because I do recognize that and do try to make that a better reality within the industry. But that aside, like I was kind of very vocally conscious of it at that time, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I just was like, I don't think I presented it in the appropriate manner or with the vernacular that I could have now in many ways. Like, my commentary has evolved a lot at this point. But also, like, the perspective of it now has changed quite a bit. Because I understand the way that the industry functions a lot more than I did when that episode first came out in late 2022 or whenever that happened.
Well, the ultra premiumization of bourbon had not fully come to fruition at that point.
Right.
You know, and now we are seeing, I mean, you had your old Carters and stuff like that were doing ultra premium, like boutiques and stuff like that, but it had never been like what we saw with that outside of like Willet, right? Yeah. So
and people are gonna like hear what I'm saying and go, well, why do you align with somebody like Rare Character? And it's like, brother, you've got to, you know, pick your battles here. Like, there are things that I'm going to find criticism in. I am going to, you know, lobby for, you know, the rights of the people that make things like Rare Character happen. You know,
I think saying $500 whiskey is tough. I think it's okay to say that. I don't think that's I don't think like that is a bad argument, because that's a tough ask for the normal person, right?
Right. There's the way that it alters the market, and the way that the people that produce the whiskey are affected because of the fact that money is. Whoa. I'm gonna stop myself. I'm getting way too much into ideology here.
Yeah, just like in general, I think We are paying. They created premium to make it premium. I know that sounds super like meta, but like that's like all it is, right? They made that premium to be premium, so it is premium. We create like it's like the Cal 18, right? Cali Med 18, $500 bottle. It's a special thing. It's meant to be special, so it's priced to be special. I think the same thing can be said about Pride. It was a special thing made to be special, so it's special. And there were special processes that were placed there for that release. So
and let me refocus myself onto like Pride of Anderson County, because I'm getting too far away from that.
Yeah.
I know enough to know that was not a project that, was turning a profit, right? Like they were doing that for, and Dave Jennings talked about this as well when he came on the podcast after we had our our mini blow up. He talked about the fact that was, a premium price because they needed to pay off what they
I mean, it cost them an arm and a leg. And
yeah, exactly.
So it is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm also just
it's
I'm uncovering old wounds that do not need to be re-uncovered.
Like, and I'm helping you do that, and that's not a good thing. Yeah. So I'm sorry about that.
No. What it all goes back to is just that there are more facets to independent bottling and naming the distilleries in the United States than there are abroad, and I think that a lot of that just goes back to profit motive and profit incentive than trying to just make good whiskey happen.
Sure. I do think there's a good example of like Macallan, though, like with Scotch, where I think the independent bottlers stepped in and also caused that to become premium. So I think there could be an argument for Scotch having a similar reaction as well.
And I don't know exactly what that looks like. Like there's a blind spot for me. Like I'm always learning. Like as evident with the Pride of Anderson County episode. Like even though that was 3.5 years ago, I am constantly learning about what happens behind the scenes. But regardless, I do want to check out this documentary and more from the documentarian themselves, because like the more and more that, and this always has been talked about with the American whiskey side of things, that it's kind of like the baby step into world whiskey in some ways, that it's so much broader and your palate will constantly evolve into, experiencing Irish whiskeys and scotches, and I recently tried a South African whiskey for the first time, which was crazy, but like just going beyond what is bourbon and American rye, and just trying other things, and so educating myself further as well, I think is very exciting. So I look forward to that. So next segment. High proof hot takes. We complain about things that have been bugging us over the past week or so. Kyle, what's been gnawing at your craw?
What's been gnawing at the craw? Samantha. No. Bro,
she's really been at you, hasn't she?
Just snatching at me. I have no high proof hot takes this week. I've been practicing.
Go ahead.
I've been practicing abstinence from anger. So I'm abstaining from frustration. I am leaning into the positives. I am becoming whole once more, and corking off as I do and please. And that's about all I got to say about that.
So you're not mad at me.
Of course not.
Yeah, you're really mad at me. I can tell.
I've been abstaining the whole time. I'm abstaining. Abstinence is real. Chastity belt of anger right now.
I don't believe you. Anyway, I've got one.
All right.
Because I've been on camera multiple times recently, and nobody has called out that there has been something in the background.
What's in the background?
That you and I have collaborated on.
Oh, yes.
To indicate the new future moving forward for the podcast.
Yes, there has been a sudden shift in the winds.
We've always had Funko Pops to
Look
represent.
This guy. Look at that Dahmer-esque boy.
Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this. This is Kyle. We have Kyle in Funko Pop form. Wow. I love the mustache.
It is very accurate.
But here's the other thing, too. I have not had short hair in many, many years. And even though I really, really appreciate Patrick and Heather Starkey having developed and delivered the very first Funko Pop that ever represented me on this show, I finally had to get a new one because I just don't have short hair anymore. And here he is.
Look at the flow.
The new long hair version. Like I'm presenting this like I'm selling it on QVC, but
you look like the other guy from Home Improvement there.
But here he is, the long hair version of Perry with his acoustic guitar and a microphone. He's present, and this is going to be the new way that you see thumbnails, I suppose. Oh, Kyle's glasses are a little askew. But maybe he's just looking at you from
make me look like I got bombastic side eye.
Oh, well, I mean, could be worse, I suppose.
Could be.
But yeah, I guess if you want to get your own, you can go to the Pop Myself or Funko Pop Myself website and make one of both of us. And then,
that gives me a really great idea for something in the future called Cork Myself.
Ooh.
So we'll figure this out, but that's an idea. TBD.
I love that so much.
TBD. Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least, we've got Tips and Bits, segment of the show where we recommend things that we have been watching, reading, listening to, playing, just enjoying, that we want to encourage you to also check out because we think that we would offer you something that would improve your manner of lifestyle in some small way. Kyle, what do you have for Tips and Bits this week?
I have an album that came out in 2009 by a pretty small band called Harvard, spelled HRVRD. And the album is The Inevitable and I. It is like a post-hardcore-ish, psych rock, experimental rock situation. It's kind of out there. It's a bit weird. It's
I love it.
If you came up in the scene, you would it kind of like melds a couple kind of different lanes that we all have probably gone down in the early mid to late 2000s. So yeah, check it out. The Inevitable and I.
The evolution of Sturgill Simpson continues, and his most recent album, which initially was not supposed to be released online, got released online early on March 3rd or something. And it was under his current moniker, Johnny Blue Skies, with his band, The Dark Clouds. It's called Mutiny After Midnight. It's fantastic. It is so good. It is unbelievably unbelievably fun and groovy, and it's such a departure from the original Sturgill Simpson sound, but I don't care because I think that everything this guy touches is pure gold. I truly do. I think he makes phenomenal music, and I somewhat recently discovered that his Bourbon and Beyond set list was on Nugs. Maybe I talked about it when I was talking about my recommendation for Nugs.
No, you talked about what's his face, Tyler Childers.
Oh yeah. Well,
But
the Bourbon and
still.
Beyond set list is under
right.
the Johnny Blue Skies moniker on nugs.net.
Sweet.
So if you want to go and check that out and listen to what I heard while I was making new friends in September in Louisville, go enjoy that. But that does it for this week's episode. Thank you again to Bennett Ray for hanging out with me for my interview with him. Go check out Cooking with Congress. He makes unbelievably fun content. I talked about it with him, but I would love to see what happens next once he moves beyond all of our presidents that we've had so far, and sitting electorates. But we'll see eventually. Kyle, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me everywhere at Corking Off. It's Corking Off with Kyle at Corking Off on YouTube, Instagram. That's it. I haven't done TikTok because I probably can't cork off on TikTok, and Facebook. I probably can't cork off on Facebook, and X. I could definitely cork off on X, but 100%. I don't really X. I could probably sub X. I could probably subreddit Corking Off as well. But I don't. It's only Instagram and it's only YouTube. So check those out.
We still call it Twitter here on This Is My Bourbon Podcast, but
oh, sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We haven't assimilated to the. I mean, I don't care. I'm over it all at this point.
Yeah.
And this is Kyle Xing off, which sounds.
Ooh, I didn't. I also didn't tell you, and I wanted to tease this today. There's going to be a new episode format potentially within the next couple weeks, maybe, and it's called Peating Off. It's going to be Isla Scotch Peating Off.
I love it. I love it so much. You can find the show everywhere at My Bourbon Pod. You can also find me personally at pritter1792. If you want to support the show, you can do so by heading to patreon.com/My Bourbon Podcast. There is bonus content every Monday, and there's the pregame chats on Tuesdays, as well as early access to the podcast itself on Tuesdays. We do some bonus content with the uncut, unedited version of the show on Tuesdays as well, for those who get it early. If you want to send us questions or comments, you can do so by sending us an email. This is my bourbon shop at Gmail. This is my bourbon shop at gmail.com. Let me say that with actual pronunciation. We love to hear from people over there. You can find all of our apparel and merchandise at bourbonshop.threadless.com. Maybe we can throw the Corking Off logo over there on a shirt or in some stickers.
We should. Let's do it.
Yeah, we may as well.
I'm working on a couple anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not at the very least. Yeah. You can send us your barrel rings, 859-428-8253. I'd love to hear from you. Text messages, voicemails, whatever's easiest for you. Read them out or listen to them here on the show. If you have samples, snail mail, food, hopefully it keeps. I don't know. Just something that you want to send to us in the mail. We would love to get it from you. We have a P.O. Box. It's P.O. Box 22609, Lexington, Kentucky, 40522. It'll be open for as long as we can, I guess.
Yeah. Send Perry PB&Js. Do it.
Okay.
Do it. Send them PB&Js.
And then last but not least, leave us a 5-star rating and review on your podcast app of choice. It is one of the best ways to get us up in the podcast algorithm on podcatchers. If it shows up on the Apple Podcast app, which is the one that I choose to look at the most regularly, I'll read it out here on the show. But either way, tell your friends about the show. We'd love to see more folks listen to it. But next week, Kyle and I will be doing a blind flight of 2 samples, I guess.
Yes.
But they have been specially curated per parameters that Kyle put out. I'm very excited to test these. So
yeah, I had a little discussion with some friends of mine off camera and off air about these 2 items specifically, and it really excited me because there was an opinion on one side, and I'm excited to hopefully prove myself right or burn in flames. So we'll see. Either way, I'm very excited. It's going to be a good time.
We'll find out together. Until next time, though, I'm Perry.
And I'm Kyle.
And this is My Bourbon Podcast.